Hello and welcome everyone to the Sprint 2 demo of Boston Apartments project under course 517 Software Factory being taken by Professor Findler. This is Amit Sharma from team Amit Squared, and for Sprint 2 our main goal was to cover several user stories which were identified in our sponsor meeting with Eric. The team was successfully able to achieve 90% of the work this sprint, and for the work that will be has been left off will be a spillover from this sprint and will be taken up in the upcoming sprints. To explain what all was achieved, let me just go to our running application and it can be seen more clearly. So as it can be seen, this is the local server running for our LSEMS project under Boston Apartments. As it can be seen here, this is the application that the team is working on for the Boston Apartments website upgrade. First user story defined for this sprint was to fix the persistence issue in the client preference menu. Let me give you a little bit of background for that. So as it can be seen here, there are several menu options available and one of them is the user preferences. This is the place where the user can identify various preferences that he or she would like to set for the website when they first enter into the website. Some of them is how would they like to appear, have their name appeared, how would they like to send out an email, and many more other things. The problem here in the previous version was anything that the agent would enter in this form would not be saved in the database, and in the end, even after clicking on save, the data would not be reflected according to the updated information. Hence, this form would become useless. I debugged and fixed this issue to work end to end on front end and back end. To show this, now let's say I enter some information and hit on save. If I go back in the user preferences options, this data is as what the user entered and it is being reflected from the database. So now the data is persisted inside the database and on in the form the live data from the database is being shown rather than any static data. So this was one of the user story that I worked on. Other user story was to fix the status of the client in the client's page. On the client's page there is a option called status that shows if the client is active or it's inactive. In the previous version, this was not working correctly, but it was debugged and fixed in the sprint. Now, when I click on this client status, let's say I am updating the status of Jacob inactive to active. So once I click here and I log back into the client's menu, so as it can be seen, Jacob inactive has been turned to Jacob active. So the status of this client is updated. This issue was identified by Suraj and it was fixed by him. Other user story was to fix the status of client, and after that it was the sorting of the clients. So if I go in the clients option, there are a lot of clients shown below in the table. The issue in the previous versions was that these all fields in the table are sortable, but if the user would click on any of this field, then either the application would crash or would show invalid data. So this issue was fixed and debugged by the team, and once one of the field was updated, then the work was distributed among the whole team and it was taken up and completed in the sprint itself. So for all of the fields now sorting is working fine. To just show, if I click on type and it can be seen that it has been sorted according to ascending order. We were also able to achieve this goal, and now sorting works perfectly fine and is ready to ship. Apart from these accomplished user stories and its subtasks, we had also planned for minor UI updates as requested by our sponsor, but those tasks require more time investigation and will be taken up in the next sprint with priority. To get to this state, several tasks and readings were required, which are posted in our log file and research document. An overview of the tasks performed by all of the team members are as follows. So as it can be seen, Boston Apartments has been worked upon by our team consisting of 5 developers. The Scrum Master for this sprint was Vinay. Contributions by me, Amit Sharma, was as follows. I figured out the issue that was in the user preferences client's page. I fixed the persistence of the data on client and server side of the preferences. I also populated the fields dynamically from the database for user preferences. Apart from all of these fixes required for the user story that I had taken up, I also did testing of the functionality that I built end to end for the saving of the preferences. Apart from that, I also did code review of my peers for respective functionality and merging the code to our main branch. These were the tasks that were performed by me for the sprint. Vinay had done the following tasks. He solved the issues with when connecting to the database. There were some issues being faced in his local setup. He fixed the sorting bug in the name field, beds field, and the work phone field. Apart from fixing all of the bugs, he also tested the bugs and pushed the changes to his feature branch. Suraj worked on the following tasks for the sprint. He resolved the issue of the client status as I showed in the demo. He also implemented the sorting mechanism on client's table for every agent. So as it can be seen that for all the columns we were able to sort them according to their field. So this was identified by Suraj and was taken up by every team member. He also learned more about the flow of the project and configured Xdebug, which was a debugging client required for tracing of SQL queries. Bhavna worked on the sorting bug for the type field, max field, and page change. She also did sorting for both the orders. Amit Pandey solved the issues with DB connectivity that has been faced in his system for a couple of time now. He fixed the date field sorting issue. He tested the sorting function and he fixed the sorting of location field in client's page. So these were the things that was worked up by every team member in this sprint individually. Apart from the task achieved in this sprint, let me show you the backlog items for the sprint 2. So this is our Taiga board and these are our backlog items taken up according to the user stories. As it can be seen for the first 2 user stories, all of the tasks were closed on or before time. There were a few user stories where still time is required and will be taken up accordingly. And this is our burn down chart for the sprint. Thank you for listening to the sprint to demo of Amit Squared. If there are any questions, then please let us know.